Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and I'm here with my October book haul. Plus, maybe, minus, I don't know. I'll get to that. First, my new shirt. If you saw my weekly wrap-up, you know this is what I bought when I did my mad dash through Powell's, where I didn't buy any books. I bought a t-shirt because I wanted to avoid the rain. So there you go, new shirt. So, October books. I'm going to start with two books I don't have yet. Oh, I'm crooked. One of these I will definitely have, is definitely going to be an October book. It's coming out. I'm filming this on Sunday. It's officially released on Tuesday. The cat is going to come mess everything up. She's right there. It officially comes out on Tuesday. I'll probably get it at like 5 o'clock on Monday. And that is The Grey Wolf by Louise Penny. This is number 20 in the Armand Gamache / Three Pines, whatever you want to call it, series. And we have confirmation that it will not be the last. So there. You're going to get a cat in just a second. Hello, sweet girl. Hello, you see her? Please be patient with her. She's in a lot of stress. I'm going to tell a cat story before I go further. Yesterday, my husband and I were in one room and we heard this like unearthly screeching. So we went into the kitchen, and I've told you before that the cat has a doppelganger cat. We haven't seen it, kind of comes and goes. Well, Alice is like on one side of the sliding glass door, and the cat looks exactly like the other, and they're like at each other. And when this cat first started coming around, it was a kitten. Cat's not a kitten anymore. And then the cat's like hissing and they're screaming. And all of a sudden the cat just stops, walks over to like a rosemary bush we have over kind of the back, eye contact with Alice, marks it, and then saunters back and just starts fighting with her again. And I'm like, we're screwed. We are screwed. I have considered TNRing, trap, neuter, and releasing this cat. What has kept me from doing it is to do that through the Feral Cat Coalition. You have to feed the cat to get them into a trap. And I don't want to feed the cat in my yard because I don't want the cat in my yard. And then you have to release it where you trapped them, which would be in our yard. And so that is not, yes, TNRing, I'm all for TNRing. The problem is I don't want the cat in my yard. I talked to our vet about it, and he talked about like these motion activated like puff things that like puff air and scare up. But the way our yard is, hi Alice, it wouldn't work because she would just come around it or even come through the front yard. He says like, well, if you know someone who lives in the country and wants a barn cat, you could do that. And that's like the advice. And he's like, it sucks. That's what happens. So you guys, spay and neuter your pets because this is a pain in the butt. Anyway, The Grey Wolf, that will definitely be here tomorrow as I'm filming this. You're going to be seeing this on Tuesday, so it'll be release day. The second book, I don't know why I don't have it, because I always order, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek here. We're going to sneak peek one book that I do have, which is The Best American Short Stories 2025. I always pre-order The Best American Short Stories 2025 and The Best American Mystery and Suspense, whatever year. I always pre-order those. They're released on the same day, and they have always come together. Hi, sweet girl. Except this year, only this one came. I'm not sure what's going on with the mystery one. I'm still waiting for it. I should have had it by now. If you see it in my November haul, that means I didn't get it till November, but I'm expecting it any day. So I got this, by the way. We'll see this one again in a moment. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Anyway, so those two, yes. Are we going to make sure that we're seen? Okay. She wants to be in the videos today. So besides those two books, I have 12 books. The first two I have are ebooks that I found on sale when I went to go look something else up, and I couldn't resist. The first one I really couldn't resist because it's a book I really wanted to read, and it was $1.99. I'm telling you, those ebook sales, they're dangerous. And this is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I have not heard anything but stellar reviews about this book. And so I'm really looking forward to reading it. It was $2, so I got it. And the second one is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, which I got for $3. Hello, Alice. I did read The Good House a couple years ago for one of my book clubs. I didn't like it, but I have heard this is much better. It is based on the same... school that the Nickel Boys is based on. And I got it thinking, oh, I'll read it during spooky season. And I just haven't gotten to it. But that's okay, because if I don't get it to it this year, I can read it any other time, or I could read it next year at spooky season. So I have that. So the first print book I have is one that I am currently reading, and that is Gothic Tales by Elizabeth Gaskell. As you know, I am listening to this as I read it. I am not reading the entire book, because in here is Lois the Witch, which I read last month. And so that is, I'm not going to read that part, but I'm going to read everything else. So this is in process. Make a little stack here. Okay. And the next one I have is my Aardvark book of the month, or my Aardvark book, not book of the month because I skipped book of the month this month, but Aardvark, which is The Mad Wife by Meagan Church. I'm assuming this is pronounced Meagan. I've always heard people, most people I know who spell their name this way, it's pronounced Meagan, but every once in a while someone pronounces it Meagan. I'm going to say Meagan just because I think that's what it is. I'll read it. They called it hysteria. She called it survival. Lulu Mayfield has spent the last 5 years molding herself into the perfect 1950s housewife. Despite the tragic memories that haunt her and the weight of exhausting expectations, she keeps her husband happy, her household running, and her gelatin salads the talk of the neighborhood. But after she gives birth to her second child, Lulu's carefully crafted life begins to unravel. That's all I'm going to say about it. Sounds pretty good. It sounds a little Marvelous Mrs. Maisel-y, but are we done? Okay, we're done. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel-y, but maybe not funny. We'll see. So I have that coming. The next one I have is a book I pre-ordered, and I had totally forgotten I pre-ordered it. Usually I keep track of my pre-orders, and I must have for some reason not put it there because I was completely shocked when this book showed up. And that is The Eagle and the Hart, The Tragedy of Richard II and Henry IV by Helen Castor. Once I got this book and I looked to see what it was, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense that I would have ordered this. I don't think it's it just was published. I think it just came out in paperback. That's why, anyway. I don't know if I am going to read this. I think I will probably count this as a quarter two historathon book. I was thinking maybe if I pull Richard II out of my Shakespeare tin, I might do this, but this is a kind of a big book. So I don't want to force it into a small period of time. I think I'm just going to keep this historathon, but it is about Richard II and Henry IV. And if you know your Shakespeare, you know what goes on between those two. Okay. Then I have another book I am currently reading, which is my audiobook. And yes, I consider listening to audiobooks reading. And this is Finding My Way, a memoir by Malala Yousafzai. This is her kind of coming into adulthood and trying to define herself on her own terms as, she's a young woman and she wants to have those experiences. She doesn't want to be known as the girl who got shot in the head. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm about halfway through. Okay, and then I have, this one I'm going to have to be reading soon. This is Giving Up is Unforgivable, a Manual for Keeping a Democracy by Joyce Vance. Timely, isn't it? Joyce Vance is a former U.S. attorney from the Northern District of Alabama, which is kind of, you wouldn't expect a really I shouldn't say that. That's me making a lot of assumptions, but when I think of Alabama, I don't think of progressives. There was my assumption. I'm sorry. But she is from there. She's on a number of she's on a couple podcasts. She has a Substack, and I've been following her for some time, and I really like what she has to say. So I am looking forward to reading this. It is not very long. I do also have the audiobook, so I might do that instead or do that with it. I like to do audiobooks when it's a podcaster that I know because I'm so used to their voice. So I don't think I need to go into what this is about because I think we all know what this is about. Okay, there's that. Okay. And then we have Best American Short Stories, which I have mentioned before. This should also have Best American Mystery and Suspense, but I don't know where that is. So I need to check up on that. But I will probably start reading this. This one is edited by Celeste Ng. And what's really interesting about this is I looked through the contributors, and there aren't any names that jump out at me as ones I should know. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm sure that I would know if I really sat down and thought of it, but none that really jump out on me. I like these because you can always kind of get a little bit of the editor's vibe in it. And I do like Celeste Ng, so there's this. I can't remember who Best American Mystery, I can look that up really quickly, I think, who Best American Mystery and Suspense is edited by. Don Winslow. That's who does that. Oh, back to the right thing. Okay, so there's that. And then I have another impulse Kobo buy, although it's a book that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and it was actually on my Kobo wish list, and it was on sale. So it was like $11.99, and I got it for $1.99, and it is a classic. It is Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. This is one I've heard quite a bit about, and I've always been interested in reading it. I just haven't yet, and so now I have it. Who knows when I'm going to get to it, but I have it. Okay. The final 3 books that I just got yesterday on my little outing to downtown Portland. If you saw my weekly wrap-up video, you know that I went to go see a play with Bookish Best Friend. Instead of doing our usual of going to see the play and then going to Powell's, we met at Grand Gesture Bookstore, which is an independently owned romance bookstore in downtown Portland, that they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary when we happened to be there. And I needed to go there because I have found that reading romance novels 1 chapter before bed is like the perfect I need to go to sleep sort of formula for me. And I have one that I was going right now. It finishes on October 31st. I had another, but I knew I was going to want a Christmas one, and I also wanted to see what else was there. So actually, let me put these in a different order. So I was going to go get a book by Jenny Bayliss, who wrote the Christmas romance I read last year, because I did also really like kind of reading a Christmas themed romance. I don't know what the cat's doing. Christmas themed romance during the craziness of Christmas. So I thought, well, I'll just get another book by hers. And they did have one, but it's not a romance. And this is A December to Remember. This is wildly different half-sisters, Maggie, Simone, and Star, have hardly seen one another since their sprightly summers at Rowan Thorpe, their eccentric father Augustus's home. Known for his bustling approach to the knick-knack shop he ran, Augustus was loved by all and known by none, not even his daughters. Now, years later, the 3 estranged women are called upon for the reading of Augustus's will and quickly realize he's orchestrated a series of hoops through which they must jump to unlock their inheritance. The last thing any of them want to do. But Maggie and Star desperately need the money, and who would Simone be to resist? So this is like a sister's novel, but it did sound like something kind of light and delightful to read around Christmas time as sort of like one of my normal reading books. So I picked it up anyway, even though it's not a romance novel. But I still needed a Christmas novel, right? To read in December. So I got Date Night in December. This is always important. It has 29 chapters. So I need to start it like November 26th. Is that right? Math-wise, we got to figure that out. But I have a certain date by which I need to start this book. So he has 1 month to make a Christmas miracle happen. Lainey Reynolds knows there's only one place that can help her heal a broken heart, Cherrywood, the small town where she grew up, with its holiday festivals and snow-covered streets, is exactly where she needs to be this December. It feels good to leave the bustling city where her husband was too busy climbing the corporate ladder to notice the growing distance between them. But she's got his attention now. Connor received his wake-up call loud and clear when Lainey left, and there's no way he's giving up on his marriage. If that means dropping everything and trading high-rises for gingerbread houses to sweep his wife off her feet in her hometown, then so be it. This time he's listening, but it'll take more than hot chocolate dates and even hotter nights, woohoo, to win Lainey back. Can he prove that being a CEO is nowhere near as important as being her husband? I kind of like that setup. I am a second chance romance that's kind of my catnip when it comes to romance, so this kind of falls into that. Sounded delightful. It's Christmassy, so picked it up. 29 chapters is a good amount. I just need to get the date right. And then this is one that I wasn't planning to buy because I said I had another book from the last time I went that I was going to read after I finished the one I'm currently reading, but then I saw this one. And it has a nice autumnal cover. It's an autographed copy. Not that, there it is. There's the autograph. And it's Canadian. So I have an English book, an American book, and a Canadian book. And I just thought, this looks like a nice autumnal book to read after my October one. So Prudence Welch has found, this is people watching. This is also apparently, when I logged it into my thing, I saw on Goodreads, this is the first book in a series, so apparently there's going to be more books. This book was just released, so. Prudence Welch has found solace in her introverted life in Baysville, a charming town in northern Ontario. Despite once dreaming of a life beyond its borders, she now finds contentment in her routines, working at her father's gas station, writing poetry, and caring for her mother, who was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease. But as her mother's condition worsens and her father's concerns about her own future intensify, Prue feels her world slipping further out of control. Enter Milo Kablukov, an enigmatic wanderer whose beat-up van covered with ill-advised bumper stickers rolls into town just when Prue needs a change. It's all too easy to let go with him, and their unlikely friendship leads to a wild and sexy agreement between them. Milo, a man of many adventures and countless stories, is not one to settle down. However, his brother's urgent need for help has brought him to Baysville, and now his chemistry with the intriguing Prue has given him more reason to stay, especially since once casual sex lessons begin at Prue's request. Woo-hoo! There's that. But as their temporary arrangement blossoms into something deeper, Prue and Milo discover that getting out of their comfort zone is one thing, but taking that leap together is something else entirely. And I should probably say now, I'm not someone who needs spicy romance. Like, I am perfectly fine with closed door. But I'm also okay with more explicit as long as it's not one of those things where story, sex scene, story stops completely. Sex scene's over, story starts again. Like, it needs to be involved in the story. Anyway, there's that. So those are the 12 books that I have. Plus we have the one book that will be here by the time you see this video. And the one that might be here, I don't know. I need to check on that. That's Best American Mysteries and Suspense. If anyone is interested in doing some buddy reading, let me know. I'm always here for that. Yeah, and do you have any great books that you got in October that you're excited about? Let me know. And let's see, if you'd like to play the emoji game, why don't you, we've had some pretty wild weather here. Why don't you give me some kind of weather emoji? Okay. Like, subscribe, join my Discord. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.